It's official.
Any public comment? You don't have to explain very well. I don't have comments. I have a question. The question is,
I'm sorry, could we pause just a second? Because this is being recorded, if you could state your name and also address, and also I might actually have to ask you to move. The camera's not catching you. If you could stand and come forward, if that's possible. Or if you're comfortable not being that much on camera, that's fine. That the top fisheye lens gets you very well.
Sure.
Yeah, not at all.
My name is Jack Gabby. I live 20 Jackson Way, Plum Island. The question is to you. Last in June, I believe 14, give or take a day, the 950 word document, speaking of volunteers in the archival, charging them with verbal abuse and bullying, all that, appeared in the Newburyport Daily News. It did include one line saying that the volunteers accept money from the patients, from the patients. The line was that the word money was never defined, never qualified or quantified in any way. A day or two later, the response from the volunteers appeared in the Daily News, also on the editorial page, saying that they didn't know how it was possible to be charged with verbal abuse and bullying, and also answering that one line about the money, saying that it was changed by photocopiers. And that was that as far as the Daily News was concerned. There was nothing, there was no response to the response. It went uncontested, which seemed to me that if one side is not making any specifics and the other side is, it seems to me that the public figures that out. 2 weeks later, June 28th, give or take, an evening, I'm at home looking for something. I'm on the library's website, and I inadvertently hit the About Us, and the window drops down, and at the top of it was statement from the staff. I can't remember exactly how that was worded, and I put that, and there it was, the 950 word statement. Just as it had appeared in the Newburyport Daily News 2 weeks earlier, with the line about money still there. Again, unexplained, uncontested, and certainly the volunteers' response was nowhere to be clicked on the site. The next morning, I went into Newburyport City Hall unannounced, and wondering if anybody in City Hall was aware that this had happened on a city-sponsored website. I wound up in a meeting with the chief of staff, Andrew Levine, and he said, yes, they're right, okay. And then I went on, I specified the check about the money. And I asked him about that, and his answer was, well, it is money. I asked if he didn't think that there was a logic insinuation there, being put in the document that it was put in. No insinuation. And I have to, again, to rephrase it, I asked about ethics. Do you see anything ethically wrong with this? And he just looked at me. Okay, that's a long setup for a question, but I need to say that, that was June 28th or 29th. I checked the new report. I checked the NPL website, after that. All the way until July 17th, that statement remained on the site. I thought there was a chance that I might have alerted him to something that he wasn't aware of, and he didn't want to let me know that, he was aware of it, but there it was, it remained. So it was on, this library's website for at least 3 weeks.
Mr. Garvey, 20 seconds.
5. The question is, were you aware?
Well, I was, you know, spoken to that money. So, was involved in it, there was also a right member of the union. So we have no control or say with them. I don't know what.
No, like I said, I don't remember the exact date, but I remember when I found out that it was on the library website, I asked them to take it down, and I believe they did, but I don't know what the date of that was off the top of my head. I'm happy to look into it.
City Hall 3 weeks before it was taken down. When I was standing at the water cooler, you walked past me before I went to the meeting with your chief of staff.
Sure.
And you didn't know what I said to the chief of staff?
I don't believe so, Jack. I'm not sure about that specific day. Like I said, I don't remember the date. I remember when I found out about this, we had it taken down. That's all I remember.
It was in the last days of June.
Mhm.
That's for sure. It was a Tuesday, I know that.
But you didn't meet with me, so I can't respond to what happened after you met with the chief of staff.
But it's down now. Correct? Not there anymore.
It was down on July 17th or 18th.
So, I mean, I think that's kind of your 5 minutes. I don't know. I didn't see it. I don't know. It's not there. The problem. I do know the whole thing was dealing with union, city union, both sides. You have control and knowledge.
I'm not asking about the union, I'm asking about ethics. How ethical was it for that statement to be on a city-sponsored website?
I can't answer that. See the state. But
And you're the director, you're on the board of directors of.
I didn't see the statement.
What?
I didn't know it, but I knew you're
If
finding.
you're on the board of directors of a public institution, isn't there an obligation to know what is public? I mean, you're not gonna know about any views that take place up in the staff in this one and that one, I know that, but this is a public statement. Just as it was as a letter in the Newburyport Daily News. It's on a city-sponsored website.
Doesn't matter. But anyway, your 5 minutes is kind of expired at this point, so. We have your opinion in the whole matter. Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak? Over here.
The first was about the library. The fallout.
Linda Harding.
Identify yourself.
Oh, Linda Harding, 13 Front Street. Fallout. I think is big for the library. All the volunteers that. I well know a lot of friends and the newspapers reached a lot of people. And I've heard a lot of people now the library, friends, considering planning. And I just think the board should be over that once again. In the story that unraveled about a lot of substantial evidence of. So it's, you know, the volunteers themselves. Have in the heart and read the paper back on the press. So that's one piece. The second piece is that the archives are still concerned about what happened to them. I know they will still run as an automatic. But the way they did run in as a place to really active. People have come all over the place to come to this archive. So, they have a special. And they came and had interactions with other researchers, volunteers, and archivists. And they came and they stayed in hotels, they ate in our restaurants. And this is, I think the library board should be aware that this was wrong, that impacted the whole city. And then thirdly, it just is still so not right that city employees for 10 years as an exemplary career here. Loses a job, we hear that she's retired, even though she's very young, she loved her work. And the other city employees must feel vulnerable, they've seen this happen. And Sharon herself has been yet to get any thanks for her work. Any thanks. I mean, I don't know if it was a board that was in those for 10 years of service. This is just all bad for the city. I'm not saying to know names or blame or anything. I'm just really looking out the library, the archives, and the people who work here.
Thank you. That's what I can speak. You want to say something? You don't have to, I just asked. Moving along, I see lots of comments.
No,
Okay,
I know what I want to speak.
all right. Anyone else want to speak? Minutes?
Yep, and the edits were made according to Director Gorski's suggestions.
Next meeting date will be March 20, 2000.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. All right, just wanted to briefly mention, I am working on my very first budget here for the city of Newburyport, working with Ethan Manning. We had a meeting to discuss the particulars, those things that are specific to the library budget that may be different from other city budgets, some of the state and local guidelines as well as regulations that have to be met. He and Ethan Manning and I will be working on various parts of the budget as I have questions. But again, and budget process is similar to what I went through in the town of Boxford, just again, magnitude. So working through that process, and the budget proposal for the library will be submitted by Friday, March 8th. Okay. Any questions about the FY25 budget preparation or season? Okay. All right, I'm going to move on to I want to share about the library statistics. In the month of January, we had 10,977 visitors. Our average monthly visitor count is in FY24 is 10,736. So this year we actually exceeded our monthly average. I mean, this month. Our circulation for January was 23,121. Our FY24 average . Are there any questions or anything else you'd like me to discuss regarding our statistics? Otherwise, I'm going to leave our statistical report as transmitted. Oh, and just one, last month, it was recommended that I break out the different, segments of circulation for you, the different formats. Is it enough or is it too much? Because I can always tone it back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. And just so you know, that there are some other smaller segments that aren't included. So when you're looking at the numbers, the total number is what we get from Merrimack Valley Library Consortium that includes all of the formats. These are just the major formats that we circulate. So just wanted to let you know of that. Okay.
Last one. Did you say the numbers?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not the period of public comment. Sure. The number of visitors that go to archives is included in the overall attendance because the number of people that have walked through the front door. The archives does not have its own separate entrance to the exterior of the building, so everyone that enters archives has already been counted at the front door. There are no further questions. I'll move on to buildings and grounds. This month we had, it's actually more of a request. A request from homes.com. A representative and photographer came in and asked if they could take interior and exterior pictures of the building for their website. Because it is for commercial purposes, the request needs to be approved by the board of directors. So their purpose for the photography is to show places in the community that would be of interest, to show the flavor, the color of the community. And they felt that the library was an excellent place. They've done, they have photographed other libraries in other communities, so they wanted to do that here as well. They feel it would help buyers see how great Newburyport is added to the wonderful architecture. So, so I put that request to you. I'm sorry?
Who is it?
It's the real estate website, homes.com. No, actually, both interior and exterior. They would, the way they have shown that it's being used is they've, any pictures that they take that have patrons, it's always showing them from back, no faces, especially no children. So they're familiar with the need for making sure that there aren't any faces shown in the photography.
Have any questions? I comment on it. Seems to be a lot very expensive places for selling these reports. That's probably pretty benign.
I would need the board to vote on it, so someone would need to make a motion to approve the approve of homes.com's request to
Make a motion.
we'll contact the representative and set up an appointment. Okay. All right, moving on to personnel. On February 12th, the senior librarian for archive services, the position was filled internally. It was filled by Dana Eckelberger. She applied for the position. We conducted an interview. and she was offered and accepted the position on February 14th. For those of you who are unaware, Jan Eckelberger has a master's in library and information science from Simmons University, with a concentration in archival management. Dana began her tenure here in 2016 and has served in both archives and in teen services and in reference. For the past 5 months, she has successfully managed both archival services as well as reference and information services, using her experience in both departments to manage both. Jessica and I felt she was a very good candidate, very appropriate, and so that we offered her the position, and she accepted. She will begin her responsibilities as the Senior Librarian for Archive Services on Friday, March 1st. To kind of help illustrate this, there is going to be a slight adjustment to the schedule in archives to accommodate that as archives is part of the greater library.
Everything.
Dana is going to have the following schedule. She will be scheduled here Monday through Wednesday from 9 to 5, and on Fridays from 9 to 5. On Thursdays, she will be here from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. And she will have a rotating Saturday schedule. On the evenings, she is here. She will be working at the reference desk between 5 and 9 p.m. And on Saturdays, when she is here, she will be working at the reference desk. The rationale for this is actually there's been some anecdotal data from the staff that as they've been working downstairs the archives, they've become more aware of the resources, and they've been able to make connections with patrons and to increase the awareness of the resources down there. Because we see the Senior Librarian for Archive Services as part of the greater library staff, it is important that she participate in the greater work of the library. So she is going to be upstairs in a reference department. During that time, she will be able to do both the work of reference as well as be able to direct people to services and resources downstairs in archives as people ask questions that are relevant to the resources that are downstairs. We feel that this will increase both the visibility and awareness of the archive services. It will enable relationship building between residents and the Senior Librarian for Archive Services, so that she can then enhance their experience, their research experience down in the Archive Center, as well as this is again an opportunity that patrons will be able to become more aware of what's available for them in archives, and will only increase the use of the archives, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that residents have a greater interaction with the Senior Librarian for Archive Services in this situation, because oftentimes, because they may have only had experience upstairs, we just want to make sure that there's greater interaction and there's greater chances and possibility and potentiality for them wanting to use the resources downstairs as they ask questions that are relevant and are germane to that special. So that is the rationale for having Dana working upstairs on Thursday evenings and on Saturday. Otherwise, her primary service location is archives, yes. Now, on Thursday mornings, we want to make sure that the Archive Center is available for researchers. We're going to be using the appointment system that was created by Sharon Speldiner. Sharon Speldiner created an appointment system during the pandemic to allow for residents to engage the center. And we're looking at it as a way to also enhance the user experience in archives, because when you make an appointment, you are not showing up and waiting around for wasting time. This is enhancing your experience because you have time to have a conversation and say, I'm going to be here Thursday at 10 a.m. The time between the conversation about your research topic and the questions that you have, the staff member who will be assigned to gathering your research will have time to gather it up for you. So when you come at 10 a.m., you can jump right into your research. And the staff member will be there, available to answer questions if you have, questions about the resource, or if in your research you're at a point where you might need to go further. Again, be able to make an additional appointment. Again, making sure that when you're there, the resources will be available for you, and the experience will be enhanced, and you will not be wasting any time, and you will be able to devote the time that you're there to your research. So we're looking to do that on the Thursday mornings from 9 until 1. Again, the service is available. We're just asking that during that time you make an appointment, and you'll be able to spend time in archives doing your research. We'll just know when you're coming, and we'll have your resources for you. The time on Saturdays will also be a time in which we are going to be enacting the appointment system, so that, again, because of the staffing structure on weekends, we want to make sure that we know that you're coming. We want to make sure that we're going to be able to have your resources readily available for you. And again, this is all to enhance the user experience, to enhance your ability to have the time focused on your research. And so we're going to be doing that on Saturdays. So for walk-ins, we recognize that during times of special consideration, which I've identified so far as summer, especially during Yankee homecoming, that Thursday morning and Saturdays when the center would be open by appointment only, we are going to be developing a special walk-in schedule for that time period, because it is a time when we are going to have an increased number of people coming here for summer, staying in their vacation homes. They're going to be interested, potentially wanting to do research. And so we want to, again, extend that availability. Again, more people are likely to walk in, maybe not living here year round. We don't want them to have to overcome a learning curve, because they're here for just a short period of time. And we want them to have that experience. So during the summertime, and especially during Yankee homecoming, we will develop a special walk-in schedule for those time periods that we would now just be open for appointments. Right now, yes, there is someone there from 9 until noon and then from 1 until 4. We have set up, we've actually, it used to be you could not go in between 12 and 1 or after 4 at all. Now, if you make an appointment, we, for noon, you have to give us a longer, lead time because of scheduling. The 4 o'clock time is a little bit easier to schedule. But we're now making that 12 to 1 period as well as that 4 to 4:45 period available when it hadn't been. But that is by appointment. Those times, again, are by appointment only. But again, it's more than what we had in the past. And it is by appointment. So when you show up, your resources are there, ready, waiting for you, and you can delve right into your research. Yes.
So, the appointments can they be made online or?
Yes. Yep. They can be made by phone, by visiting the reference desk, or if you happen to be here but don't have the time to do your research and you go down to the archive center, you can speak to the person that's sitting there at the desk and schedule an appointment. I'm not available today, but I can come next Tuesday.
Something else.
Correct. And what happens is, yep, Dana will contact you if there are any questions, just to make sure she's clear. So when she gives, either if she takes the request or she gives it to another reference librarian to fulfill the request, she'll be able to explain the request and make sure that the resources are there or what the person is looking for. Yes.
Will some of that information be added to the website? Just in terms of the schedule?
Since it's not live, since it's not going to occur until after Dana has taken the responsibilities, it will be when it goes live and when we actually sometime before we go live with that, at least 2 weeks, we'll be making sure that that is available. Yeah, unless there are any other questions regarding, one other, I also wanted to, in the past, cataloging and processing of materials was under the purview of the senior librarian for archive services. We recognized that that was a task that was not being, it was overwhelming to the staff person, to the senior librarian. Unfortunately, there are little thousands of items that are yet to be counted and entered into the system. So what we're also making sure that as every other department, the cataloging is overseen and quality control is assured by the head of technical services. As archives is a part of the greater library, cataloging, quality control, and consistency is going to be assured by the head of technical services. This is going to be part of our concerted effort to go through the entire collection, make sure that it's cataloged to industry standard. We recently had a representative from the Merrimack Valley Library Consortium come out and make sure that the things that we were doing were up to industry standard. So all of the cataloging that will be done to industry standard. And this process is, again, going to enhance the user experience, because if they do any searching on their own, they will be able to find materials in the catalog. All of the materials will be cataloged and all of the materials will be available for searching on the catalog. And this actually, the cataloging, oversighting, and quality control actually started at the beginning of October. And it's just going to continue from now on. This is something that I've talked to both Dana and Sally about, and they understand the importance. And Dana wants to make sure, again, that all the materials are cataloged to industry standard. Any other questions? Okay. Since Dana is currently the senior librarian for Reference and Information Services, and will be leaving that position, transferring to down to Archive Services. The position is currently vacant, or will be vacant as of March 1st, but we've begun the internal posting process, as is allowed by the ASME union contract that was negotiated. So the head of HR has posted the position internally and will be available for internal applicants through March 1st. And if there are any internal candidates that meet the education and experience requirements, we will interview them. And if they are, if their interviews are successful and we feel that they are appropriate candidates, we will offer a position. If we go through that process and there aren't any, though I know there are quite a few qualified candidates on staff already. If none apply, the position would be then posted external. And again, that would be overseeing the posting process and gathering of applicant material would be overseen by the head of HR. We will receive those applicants, go through their material, select candidates for interview, and Jessica and myself would interview them. Okay. Any questions? Okay. All right. All right. I'd like to move on to discuss the progress on the development of the volunteer program. Currently, we have finished the drafting of the final draft. Final draft is now being reviewed by the head of HR. And once she has gone through the draft, making sure there aren't any things that we need to be aware of, any language, etc., she will then present it for us to the union. And then once the union has reviewed and given their feedback, we will then synthesize their feedback and comments into the draft. And then we will present the draft to the board for your review and vote. Unfortunately, I do not have a timetable for that. It is out of my hands. It's currently in the review process, out of my control. I did express to Donna Drellick that you had hoped that the board could review and vote on it at the March meeting. So I expressed that to her. She said she would do her best. She would hand it off to the union. And again, it's kind of out of her control at that point. So I will get through the draft to you as soon as I get it back and synthesize those comments. Any questions? Okay. All right. I'll move on to just a kind of sharing about our outreach and community partnerships of the past in January. Right. We have maintained and continue to enjoy the partnership with the city clerk's office. again, we hosted the January 23rd Whittier construction project vote here. It went well. I think we've kind of figured our way out how to do it, so it's running smoothly. Not as many bumps as we've learned things along the way. We also continue our partnership with the Newburyport Youth and Recreation Department. Did I say that right, Mayor? Oh, Recreation Services. The library still continues to provide the drop-in hours with social worker Trish and also Allison, the children's librarian, also negotiated a collaboration for a 6-week summer program series. So very excited about that. A great collaboration. There's going to be a lot of great programs that are going to occur because she was able to work with Newbury Youth and Recreation and develop a great program. So very excited about that. Now, Allison, say something nice about Allison again. In our outreach section, with Immaculate Conception School, Allison conducted educational outreach, instruction on how to identify credible sources for research projects. And she did that outreach with the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And that was on January 26th. So nice that we have such a great relationship with Immaculate Conception School. Not only do we go there, but many of their students come here and enjoy the library after school. So it's always great to see them. We can usually hear them before they're here. Any questions about our outreach and community partnerships? Okay. In the month of January, the library offered 46 programs to library patrons. 20 were adult. Of those 20, 7 were in person and 13 were live virtual. And there were 26 kids and teens programs. Moving on to the calendar, last month we had 2 days in which the library was closed. We had an unexpected snow cancellation for the snow that, well, the snow that,
No, that wasn't.
snow that wasn't on Tuesday, February 13th, and then a scheduled President's Day closure on February 19th. Upcoming library closure will be this month for a staff development half day on February 27th. The library will open at 1 p.m. that day. During that, from 9 to noon, we'll be conducting a staff strengths, opportunities, aspirations and results strategic planning exercise. And there will be opportunity for the different library departments to have this opportunity for staff meeting. Then we will also have the opportunity to gather together as a staff for lunch. And then we will open at 1 o'clock and greet all of our friends and patrons. Speaking of strategic planning, I'll move on to our strategic planning section. Okay, the Strategic Planning Advisory Committee had its first meeting on Monday, February 12th. The Strategic Planning Advisory Committee offered a lot of great feedback on kind of the areas that we want to concentrate on. They also provided feedback on sample questions, also suggested some additional questions, maybe also formatting the survey in such a way that we ask some general questions and then provide a section for those who wish to delve a little deeper to answer more questions. We also discussed the teen survey. The major difference between the teen survey and the adult survey is that there will be some incentivization, kind of gamifying the experience for the teens by offering them an opportunity to win a $10 to $15 gift card to a local eatery, candy shop, gelatos, store, etc. Again, Barbara Alvarez has said that incentives work really well with the teen population. It by offering the incentives or a chance to win, it kind of builds that sense of excitement, and so they tend to want to participate a little bit more. She also said that offering incentives to adults really doesn't work. Adults will do it. Incentives really rarely, if ever, change the percentage of those. So we're kind of hoping that we'll be able to get a larger percentage of teens. Or, I'm in kind of in negotiations with Friends of the Library. They're thinking of underwriting the gift cards, looking at, most maybe gift cards anywhere between $100 and $150. So, the Friends being pretty open to the idea. So we're excited about that. As I mentioned, the staff will be participating in their strategic planning exercise on Tuesday, February 27th. I need to schedule the board of directors strategic planning exercise. We had a discussion at our last kind of status meeting with Barbara Alvarez. There were two, she felt the best way to do this would be not at your regular meeting, because this exercise can take anywhere from an hour and a half to almost 2 hours. And given the time of day, as well as there's other business that needs to be done, she felt it might be better if it were done, it would have been done in a hybrid environment, but this way it can be done completely through Zoom, and everyone would be given the link. And if you're not able to participate at the meeting, the nice part about it is everyone on the board will be given the feedback and participate in the prioritization survey, which follows the SOAR exercise. So even if you're not able to attend the exercise and participate that way, you'll be able to participate in the prioritization aspect of it. So, yes. What I was kind of hoping tonight was to get a sense of from the board, good evening days or days when your evenings tend to be a little bit more free. So then I could throw a few dates out. So because I have to be able to link your availability with Barbara's availability. In general, if what days would you find, would you, since you tend to come to a meeting on a Wednesday, would you prefer to schedule it on a Wednesday?
Can you maybe get a couple dates from her and then maybe give us like 3 options to choose from that works for her?
Okay. Would you prefer I do it on a Wednesday? Try to look for Wednesday dates? Yeah, I'll look for, see if I can get a group of Wednesday dates. And then that way, the 3 Wednesday nights, since tend to be coming to this meeting on a Wednesday night. All right, I will look at Barbara's availability and see what dates I will put together for you. And then you will kind of just get feedback as to which of those dates are available for the most people. And again, if you're not able to participate in the exercise, you can still participate in the overall process by participating in the follow-up prioritization survey. So you'll be able to see all of the feedback synthesized by Barbara and then participate in that survey. So it's not that you won't be able to participate at all. Right. And again, it will be done completely on Zoom. It will be considered an open meeting, so there will be it'd be a typical open, a posted agenda, and open to the public for any public comments, etc. And then the next part about it will just be the SOAR exercise. And when that's done, the meeting will be closed. We'll move on. That is my report. And I do not have any other new business.
Have any comments?
I just have a couple. So we did have two board members decide not to get reappointed. Kay Carey and Marsha Edson. But thank you for your service. They both loved their time on the board, but also thought that it's time to get some new people on here as well, which is exciting. So there are two people in the packet that I believe will go to community services subcommittee next Tuesday, I believe. Kristen Donahue is one, and Caroline McCarthy. And they were just both really excited. One of them is actually a librarian, used to be a sub-librarian here, but also works over at Governor's as a librarian. So very, very qualified, probably the most qualified candidate I've had for a board thus far. But she was excited. And just another side note, I got to meet with Stacy Brennan, president of Brandon of the Friends this week, which was really great. And we just talked a lot about things going on at the library. They had an event this past Saturday, magic show and book sale, but we also just talked a lot about what else can we do to shine a light on the Friends, and it was great. It's great. She was awesome. Oh, I can mess with her. So also I'll let you know, I thought she'd be here tonight, Elizabeth Ballerani. Also let me know that she's going to step down. Again, another one who just loves the library. She's going to stay on at the Emma. She was on two boards, but she wanted to open up a spot here. So we've already started looking into candidates, and we put out a word that we're looking for board members. And so we'll do some interviews and we'll get somebody great, and then we'll move on. But Elizabeth obviously is super volunteer, so I'm really going to miss her. She's been great on the board. Like I said, I still have her at the Emma, but she was just ready to take a step back and just focus on the one board. So moved.
Seconded.
Who seconded?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the silence. Yay, thank you.
116, right? That's before our next meeting, so yes.
Oh, I think there. Yes, it'll be my first GOB.